All righty. Well, welcome to another episode of Legal Shit. We're here in downtown West Palm Beach. I'm your host, Timothy Scholes, along with my lovely wife,
Hi, guys.
the co-host, Antoinette. And in this episode of Legal Shit, we are here with our dear friend, Tony Paquin, author of the book, The End of Us, A Story of Death, Deception, and China's Deadly Grip on U.S. Healthcare. Tony shares the story of how his medical supply company, iRemedy, was tasked with helping secure critical medical supplies during the COVID-19 pandemic. What started as a government contract quickly became a front row seat to global supply chain chaos, international business dealings, fraud, political influence, and America's dangerous dependence on foreign manufacturing. The conversation covers entrepreneurship, COVID-era challenges, healthcare vulnerabilities, government contracts, business ethics, and most importantly, national security, and asks the question every American should be asking right now: are we prepared for the next emergency? Welcome, Tony.
Thanks, Tim. And hi, Antoinette.
Hi.
It's great to see
Tony.
you.
Ready to talk about a little death and deception.
I'm ready.
It's always a good subject.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So listen, why don't you introduce yourself and just tell the listeners who you are and
Absolutely.
why you're here. And
I'm Tony Paquin. I'm co-founder of a company called iRemedy. And as Tim described, basically we're in the medical supply distribution business. We do a lot of work with the government, but we focus on supply chain risk management. If you're in the drug distribution business, that means you buy drugs in China because that's where all the drugs are. And as you do that, you find out what a problem there is. And that's what we're really going to talk about today is the problems.
excellent.
Why are you grabbing my paperwork? Where's yours? I told you to put
I had it here somewhere. Someone took it. Anyway,
Someone, not me, but you're taking my paperwork.
it's disappeared.
Okay. All right.
So before we get into the book a little bit, well, tell us, tell us just a little bit about how you started thinking about writing this book.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, well, what really
I'm
happened...
sorry, Tony. I'm
What's
going
that?
to rewind because that's not the order of...
Go back.
Yes.
Oh.
Back.
So I do have my questions, guys. You know I have my questions.
Yeah.
Tim likes to go out of order because he
I
thinks
just like
I
to
can
freelance it.
can willy-nilly, I can freelance anything.
Cut to the chase.
No, I like order because
Okay.
I'm ADHD and I just need to know it's organized.
Okay.
So
Never told me
before
what
we-
ADHD been.
Take us to the beginning.
All right.
So
Yeah.
before we get to
I was
into the book,
born in 1958.
I have a great story about that. But
who
anyway.
are you and how did you land in the medical supply world?
we go.
Yes.
No, I'll tell you what happened is, first off, really what I am is I'm a technologist. I'm a
Yeah.
software developer. It goes back a long time. Been building software, mostly in the insurance and the healthcare world. But about 20 years ago, we were helping hospitals build pharmacies. That's like a thing now. Like if you go to a hospital, there's a chance there's a pharmacy there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And my company at the time was doing that. We're really the people that started that whole process about 20 years ago. And we built like 100 pharmacies.
Wow.
And as
Wow.
part of that, we had to start buying drugs for these pharmacies. And I'm talking hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. And in doing that, you found out, man, it's a mess. It's like a real screwed up system in the way that we do medical supplies in this country.
Right.
And, being a software guy, technology guy, I said, hey, there's got to be a better way.
Okay.
And that's when we stepped in and we started working on the problem.
So what inspired you to start your company? Well, I guess that's it. That's a
Yeah.
double question right there.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem you're trying to solve, I get.
Yeah, well, the problem is, this is a thing we were kind of surprised about with healthcare in America and all these supplies, is 20, 30 years ago, like everything,
Mm-hmm.
the supply chain moved overseas,
Right.
right? And in order to do that, if you're a hospital and you needed to buy a drug, well, you didn't know how to go to China,
Right.
right?
No.
So you used a distributor to do that.
Is that a third party in between, I guess?
Party, and they knew how to do that. And then these mega, massive companies got built. One's called McKesson. They've been around since the Civil War.
Wow.
Okay. And they're big. They're bigger than Amazon, a couple
Yeah.
$100 billion a year. So what we saw though was these middlemen organizations were adding a ton of cost.
Right.
And you always hear about
Their percentage.
you know,
yeah.
everything in the United States is more expensive. Like we have this high cost of drugs. We could go down that road. I could tell you a lot about that.
We're going to talk about that.
But part of the reason is all these middlemen. That's what got us motivated. We're like, hey, there's got to be a better way. And we said, you know, there's got to be a way to save money. Let's figure out a way to attack the supply chain.
Right.
That's what we did.
And so where do
So
the
listen,
majority-
don't come off. Stay
Don't
on
come off-
script.
Don't come
Oh,
off
I have to
the
stay on script.
list.
Okay.
Stay
Yeah.
on script.
all right.
I didn't put all this work into it
you
for you to
can-
jump and
you
jump
can keep-
around.
You keep us on script, and I'll
No,
just
you
jump
can
in.
you can ask the questions because these are
You
some of
gotta
your
ask the
questions that I
right
pulled
questions.
from your brain.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
I wrote it down.
When you first launched, has it always been iRemedy?
No, actually, this is a good question. Originally, it was Paquin Healthcare, Paquin being my last
Okay.
name. And we were a consulting business. So
Okay.
we advised hospitals on how to build business enterprises. That's where we build all those pharmacies that I was talking about. That's what exposed us to the business. So
Gotcha.
once we realized, hey, we're going to get into the supply side of the deal,
Yeah.
we changed the name to iRemedy.
Okay. And
Okay.
what
Yeah.
were some of the biggest obstacles you think when you first started?
Well, what you have is these, you know, companies that are in the business, they are big and they are powerful.
Mhm.
And they really lock the market up. They don't really want things to change or get better because they make a lot of money the way the systems are.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, seriously, and that was the problem is there's a resistance to change in that massive market.
Right.
You got $100 billion companies. They're doing very well. They don't want to modernize.
They don't want you meddling in their profits.
They like
Especially
it
if
the
they've already
old-fashioned way.
Did it
Mhm.
their way, and like now you're coming along and you're like a young kid or a new person. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Stop messing it up. We have it
Yeah.
organized so our
No.
system works.
Well, no, they have it organized so that they
Their
make a lot of
system.
money.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
yeah.
not really a system that works. Do you remember this thing called COVID?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we learned how
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Right.
You know, an interesting thing that might surprise a lot of people, the government tracks drug shortages. There's like a list we have in the United States of drugs that are, we call it in shortage.
Okay.
There's more drugs in shortage today than any time in the history of the United States.
Wow.
And it seems ridiculous, right? And some of them are horrific. Like there's been a shortage for years of pediatric cancer drugs. So you've got a child who has cancer, who's being treated, and then all of a sudden they can't be treated this week because the drug is in shortage.
Wow.
I mean, that's horrible. So you can't say the system's working, right?
Mhm.
It isn't working. And but the companies who sort of master that distribution business, yeah, it's working for them,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
but not for everybody else.
So you're saying that more people you still want to keep it small still because you don't want nonsense coming out. You don't want people just sending patients or the doctors any and everything. But you want it. So what you're trying to say, but there needs to be more players on the field
Yeah, well,
because you're one of
yeah,
the players on the field.
for sure, it needs to be regulated, and
Yes,
it is
that's the
very
best part.
regulated.
Right.
Oh, it is,
There's no
yeah.
question about that, and it's not about that so much. What we really advocate, and there's a lot of people who are talking about this now, although we've been talking about it for about 5 years, is we need to move the manufacturing back to the United States,
True.
at least a significant part of it. Today, for all practical purposes, virtually all manufacturing of drugs in the United States will find its way back to either China and or India.
Okay.
And so you have two problems. In India, again, yeah, there's exceptions, right? So there's high quality companies in India, but there's also a ton of quality problems. And so you'll get a lot of quality problems coming out of India. And we've had all kinds of examples of this. But, you know, in the United States, if you're a manufacturer of a drug, the FDA can do a surprise inspection. They're going to show up. They're going to see how clean the thing is. They're going to test everything. It's unbelievable. It's really,
It's
really
important.
thorough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't do that in India.
No. I wouldn't
Okay.
expect. I mean,
Yeah. And in China,
You
there's no such thing as surprise anything in China,
Right.
as you know.
Right.
You land in China, they know who you are. They know
They know
where you
exactly
are.
who you are.
They're tracking everywhere you go. So there's no such thing
I don't know.
as a
Yeah.
surprise inspection
Right.
in China.
Oh wow.
And then the China problem is different. Now in China, you've got quality. although you have fraud. Okay. But what you really have is, there are adversary, for all practical purposes, we're at war with China.
Right.
And so your drugs that you, and for that matter, members of your military take every day.
Wait. I'm sorry, Tony. I don't mean to cut you off. I know you're the guest, but you're going too fast. I still want to learn a little bit about you before we have to dive. We're going to dive into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking back where there was a moment when you knew the company was becoming something much bigger than you originally envisioned. So looking back at it, did you know the company was going to become something much more than you originally envisioned? Or what did you vision this company to be? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No,
I know
you,
but I would love for the backstory first before we dive into the serious part of China and all that's going on.
So first off, understand that me and my team, people that I've worked with for decades, are, like I mentioned, technology people. And so we've done, before this company, we did 2 other companies. One sold to it was an insurance software company. I was originally a programmer. We built that up to about 1,000 people, sold it to a private equity group. It is today one of the largest companies in the United States in the insurance software business. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. So we did that, right? So we kind of had that experience. It was very interesting. Then after that, this and that, I ran for U.S. Congress.
Oh, see?
I did some other stuff.
Wow.
Right,
and that was a whole experience we could talk about. It was very interesting.
We have to talk about that. I've had 2 friends running for Senate and Congress.
Oh, it's a great experience, frankly.
Yeah.
But it was also, high risk and wild and crazy.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we did that. And then we did a second company. And it was, if you're familiar, like you go to the doctor, there's an electronic medical record.
Right.
Well, we invented one of those very early days, and we took that public on the NASDAQ. So we kind of did these 2 things, right? We sold one to private equity. We did another one. We took a public company public. Then we started this business.
Okay.
So, originally, we're just going to do some consulting. Hey, gee, there's a big problem. Let's go solve it. But we knew right away that this would be, if we were successful, it would be massive, because the industry is stupid big.
Right.
Like, it's just ridiculous, right? And, you take a local hospital here. We're in Stewart, Florida, Martin County. You could go to any of these hospitals here. They're multi-billion-dollar organizations.
Right.
They all spend $1 billion on drugs. So the industry is just massive.
Right.
Wow.
So we set our sights high and said, we really want to revolutionize what's happening. And, we're grinding it out.
Well, so shoot, if you have 1,000 employees already, you can do it. If you can manage 1,000 employees, you can manage anything, obviously.
Well, except in today's world, we do not want 1,000 employees. And I hope I never do that again.
It was a lot of work.
But in the world of AI,
we're
not going to do that. We're going to have very high volume with very few people. That's the way the world is.
That's
today.
where the world's going. Yeah. So how did their company become involved in the federal government emergency? Because now we're going to talk about COVID.
Yeah.
Because COVID was a serious.
Was it wild?
Yeah.
Was COVID a turning point for your company? Like, did it really?
No.
Did it step up from there, or were you already?
We were actually doing really, really well.
Okay.
Going into COVID, we're just kind of
FEMA, HHS.
2018, 2019, we're rocking and rolling, and business is good. And then COVID hit. And I'll tell you a little, some interesting stories, but we got hit early with COVID. Like, we were selling product and we started selling out.
Right.
And that was like weird. Like, we didn't even know there was a COVID, and, all that happened sort of like unexpectedly is the way COVID came. But, I find it really bizarre when you think about COVID for just a moment. Everybody's got all these, opinions about the vaccine. We can talk about that. I was right there in the middle of that process. But the interesting thing I still find remarkable is, the entire world shut down.
Yeah.
Like how bizarre is that when you think about it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, thank God we're in Florida. Florida opened up right on.
Early on.
They had that figured out. But, everywhere in the world was shut down. And
fear shuts down everyone.
Yeah.
It's fear. It's not just shut down.
Fear
it's
of the unknown.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Because we were traveling during that period. Well, actually, I had just come back. I was literally in Thailand at the end of February, and I came back the very beginning of March. And while I was in Thailand, I was listening, to CNN International, and they were talking about the strange disease that seemed to have come out of Wuhan, China or something, but they weren't sure, but that's where they thought it was coming from.
Yeah.
And then I got back here, and within 2 weeks, the place was shut down. Everything started shutting down.
Yep. And just to let you know, he's the one that gave me COVID twice because he would not sit his behind
there you go.
down.
So you should thank him.
We were
for building up
fine.
your
We were
immune
fine in
system.
Thailand, everywhere else, but when we got home,
But
someone
we
wants to
went
run
through
the
we went through the
streets.
whole travel thing, and there were,
same.
everywhere we went, there was all the COVID restrictions, and you had to get the vaccines and everything before
It
you
was
left.
very expensive.
So I'll give you my first controversial story about COVID is so we're cruising along. It's like late January, early February, 2019, 2020,
2020,
whatever,
yeah.
2020. And I'm in a meeting. I'm in a board meeting in New York City. And got my team up there, and we're doing our thing. And my CFO is down here at our office, and she calls me, interrupts me, and she says, just want to make you aware of kind of a weird thing happening right now.
Right.
And I said, really? I said, what's happening? She says, well, we're getting all these orders online for masks and gloves.
Right.
And okay, why is that problem? She said, no, I'm talking like thousands of orders.
Wow.
And we thought, I said, well, that's a little weird. Because the reason we worry about that is we worry about fraud.
Right.
We think like something's up, right? Like somebody's trying to steal from you. And I said, well, is it passing the fraud detection software? Because we have this software that will like do that. Like it'll try and find fraud. And if it passes the software, then it ensures the transaction so you can't get screwed. So she said, yeah, it's passing the software. And I go, so, hey, it's cool. Sell away. She goes, well, there's one other unusual thing that you should know about.
Okay.
And I go, what's that? And she said, all of the people ordering the masks and gloves have Chinese names.
Oh, so China needs the thing.
So what happening was they knew this was happening back in China. I'm talking about like Chinese Americans or Chinese people living in America, either one, probably family members or
shared
other
it with each other.
They are like, oh my God, we need PPE, which is a term we all know now.
Right.
But back in the day, nobody knew what PPE was.
No idea.
And they bought it all up, and we sold out. And then we were like
wait. I'm sorry. So you were buying it from your distributor, from your factory,
right?
And then because it's usually overseas, and then the overseas people wanted it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow,
that's what I'm saying. It's weird, right?
So it's like I'm buying it this price, and then now they're buying it the real the quality price.
Buying it back.
Yeah.
So it was really bizarre, but yeah, we got involved, and then like everybody in our business, and so COVID happens, and everybody, their brother gets into the medical supply business.
Yep,
I used
remember.
to be in the toy business. Now I make gloves.
Right.
That kind of thing. And
I wish I had my mask. I had so many masks.
And people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
We still have a whole
we got
box
boxes of
we have a whole box of our custom-made legal
in
shit
there?
masks.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'll be right back. You guys keep talking.
You probably had like legal shit.
No, we had we didn't have legal shit back then. We had my law firm.
Yeah.
I thought they were in there. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
I wonder, there's probably like 1 billion extra masks in the world right now. Yeah. So
here we go.
I even got in the mask business.
Those, of course, have absolutely zero clinical value.
Right.
They do nothing. No,
but
don't.
still.
They're cute.
Advertising
they
my
have
law
that
firm.
value, but they have no medical value whatsoever.
But it was cute.
It was cute.
Because that's the problem. The small,
Yeah.
because I was a small business. I'm a salon.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, oh my goodness, I just made my shirt. I just made this. Maybe I can make a cloth mask.
Yeah.
And then to be able to breathe in it was like, that was a thing. Like sometimes you couldn't breathe, but had no clue. Had no clue.
It's certainly
And
passed.
everyone was trying.
She looks like an anti-ice protester.
I still look cute though. Listen, I look cute.
There you go.
So
interesting.
So here's what happened though. So like everybody else, we're selling gloves and masks and all this stuff. We get a call from the government in August of 2020.
Okay.
And the government says, hey, we need needles and syringes for the vaccine program for Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah. And this is just when it was getting started.
They're just starting to rock and roll. And so we get this call, and we all look, my staff kind of, we look at each other and we go, God, yeah, we didn't think about needles and syringes. Everybody's thinking gloves and masks.
And where are the needles and syringes manufactured?
Well, the government said we need 100 million.
Got to figure it out.
And they got to be made in America. And I said,
good luck.
No legal shit way that's happening. So, no, because they're all made in China. I mean, essentially, there is a small amount made in the United States, but it's insignificant.
And they weren't prepared for it.
No, nobody had thought about it.
Yeah.
And so we ran over to China, and there was basically 5 factories that make needles and syringes for the whole world.
Wow.
And we signed contracts with all 5, and we kind of locked them up. It's a whole long story. It's what the book is about. But what happened was, so we got that contract. Then the government announced to the world, the government just goes, announcement, we bought these needles. Right. They do that.
Yeah, they're private.
Yeah. And then everybody in the world, I mean, literally, said, oh my God, we need needles and syringes. Yeah. And they go to those same factories and they try and buy our needles and syringes. And it begins a whole battle.
Really? Because now the factory owners see money.
We had the Saudis showed up with SUVs full of gold bullion to bribe the dock worker at a factory in China, who turns out is a very powerful person. Seriously, is the dock controller at a factory in China.
Yeah.
So we did that. We ended up importing 1.2 billion needles and syringes,
into the U.S.
in U.S. history. Yeah.
How many? I think I heard this. I heard you say this before. How many planes did you have to hire to?
It was a whole thing. We went through this drama. Well, first off, there's no planes,
right?
Because there's nobody flying,
right?
See, now you go to China in the. Like today, like if you're going to fly there today, up in the top of the jet, people are sitting in the bottom of the jet as cargo.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't any of that. There were no cargo jets. So there was no jets. And we had this problem and that problem. But the government, and at one point we couldn't get jets. And the government said, well, we'll fly C-130s. And then the Chinese said, no way, we don't want any U.S. military planes.
We don't want the U.S. military planes coming into our airspace. And,
Don't get too comfortable just because COVID's going on.
So we had all kinds of problems. And in the end, we figured out a way to charter jets.
Wow.
We took 747s. We ripped out all the seats.
Oh, wow.
And
do you have pictures? Or were you there when they were ripping the seats out?
Oh, not while they were ripping the seats out, but I was in there.
I'm like the behind the scenes. Let me see the content.
No, it would have been good content, but in those days we're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
We did that 135 times.
Oh, good Lord.
$1 million a piece, roughly. And to round trip a jet, we'd fly from somewhere in the world. We'd find a jet. We'd fly it to Shanghai. We'd load it up. We'd fly it to Chicago. We'd unload it. We'd turn around and go back and get more. And we did that loop 135 times. Took us about a year.
Wow.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. It was crazy.
So, well, I guess I've already heard the biggest challenges. You know what? Let's just dive into it. Did you encounter fraud, counterfeit products, and bad actors in the marketplace? Of course.
Well, no, but I mean, it was, beyond imagination, the things that were happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
When money comes in.
Yeah, like when money comes in. And to, your comment earlier, people were freaking out.
Yeah.
Right?
Scary.
If you go back to that whole COVID thing, right? People were just, literally going crazy.
Yeah.
And it was worldwide. So we had, we had competitive countries trying to steal our stuff, literally. Then we had the con artists in there trying to steal money, and we lost tens of millions of dollars through various con artists. We had people impersonating us. So they would look at our website. Yeah, they'd look at our website and they'd see some staff member. And then they would say to the factories in China, I'm Antoinette from iRemedy or something, because maybe you're on my website.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking at that going, well, Antoinette doesn't even work here anymore.
Wow.
And so we knew it was fraud, but we'd have to deal with all that.
Yeah.
We knew the Chinese manufacturers were getting real, deceptive. So you would say, well, we need another 100 million needles. And they'd be like, well, we're at capacity, but, my friend
No.
down the street can do that. And then we'd say, yeah, but is that an authorized FDA facility?
Right.
Mm.
Oh, no, but he can use my certification.
Yeah, never
and we're
mind.
like, no, it's not really how it works.
No,
Right? Okay.
not in America.
Yeah.
Someone will find a.
So we had that.
Track
we
it.
had we had one time we chartered a jet and $1 million. The government's paying for it, which makes it kind of serious.
Right.
You don't want to defraud the United States
No.
government
No.
of $1 million.
No.
And we got a notice from our Chinese contacts
sorry.
that said,
Go ahead.
you're multitasking over there?
Yeah, I'm
Jeanette?
just multitasking, just
Yeah,
making
so-
sure everything's up.
Yeah. So we had our Chinese people say, hey, this jet, is set up in such a way they're going to come over here and they're not going to have time to properly load. Like, you guys are being scammed.
Ugh.
And, we try and warn everybody. We went through a whole process. It drags on for a week or so. But in the end, that jet landed, pulled up to the loading dock, turned around, fueled, and left empty. Okay.
God.
So I wake up at 5 a.m, like I did every morning, because it's 5 p.m. in China. And my China people called me, and I remember this woman, she said, Tony, I have no words.
Oh, no.
It's like the bad way to start a day in the middle of
Right.
COVID.
I have no words.
I have no words, but that jet is flying empty. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, first off, the government is going to be royally pissed.
Right.
Right. And we were tracking these jets. So
Mhm.
we could watch the thing on your computer, like, oh,
Right,
there's the
right.
jet flying,
Yeah.
and it's empty because they wouldn't use as much fuel. But they still would fly the route. And
Wow.
yeah, we were in deep trouble. But the good news was we had video in China showing our stock, like,
Right.
in the staged location. So we escaped
Wild.
trouble. Yeah.
So the jet was flying empty, but the stuff was still in China. So you knew where your items were.
Yeah, at least
Okay.
at least you couldn't blame us.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that was the whole thing. Because what the jet would try and say is, oh, they weren't ready.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because it's very complicated. You had to coordinate getting the raw material,
Hmm.
Yeah.
delivering it 2,000 miles inland in China by truck, letting them do their little manufacturing thing, get it out of there, get it inspected, had to be inspected, get it loaded onto the truck, drive it all the way to the port. But remember, they got COVID.
Yeah.
Like, so they got all that going on. Like, they're not going between their states, whatever you'd call those. But,
Right.
the guys go, oh, I'm not going to drive it because I won't be able to get home. You had
Oh.
all this weird stuff going on. So you'd finally get it to there.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to find a jet. And you have to get the jet over there. You'd have to get it
Wow.
loaded. You have to fly the jet to Chicago, unloaded in Chicago.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the jet just left empty.
Yeah, because he made his $1 million.
God,
You
got
paid
paid.
him up front.
Oh, yeah, you're paying everybody.
Oh, that's the horrible part.
Yeah.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
Well, at least he flew into the U.S.
Ugh.
He probably had to pay his fee to land the
Yeah, well,
airplane, I guess.
But you're watching it on your
Yeah,
little,
but I'm
on
like,
your little thing. You're going,
shoulda
oh,
gave him
look, he's
20%.
landing to get refueled on my $1 million.
Right.
You know?
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Damn.
it wasn't good. It was bad.
So how did I just was interested? Who's inspecting this stuff overseas?
Yeah, you have third-party companies.
Okay.
And it's part of it. That goes back to, like, see, when it all started, Martin County Hospital here or Cleveland Clinic or whatever, they would know, like, how do I buy something in
Mhm.
China and get it inspected?
Right.
Mhm.
And so there's an industry that's been created
Wow.
that does that. There's legitimate
FDA?
firms that do inspection, and we use UPS Healthcare. They're a big partner of ours. They'll pick product up right in China, and then once it's in their hands, like, you're good,
Gotcha.
right? It's safe, coming over.
Interesting.
Here. But there's a whole industry around this process. And think about it. Here's our little story about
Right.
needles and syringes. Needles, by the way, are considered to be a medical device because they pierce your skin. So it's like a high level of inspection.
Yes.
But, when you think about it, pretty much every drug you take, and I'm talking like Tylenol,
Right.
Mhm.
on up to heart medication or transplant medication, it's all coming out of the same places in China and India.
But trusted sources, trusted companies
well, mostly you should read the reports I read about the quality coming out of India. So here's how it works. If you're the FDA,
Mhm.
I could give you an example. In Birmingham, Alabama, There's a company called Oxford Pharmaceutical. They employ a couple hundred people. Yeah, typical American manufacturer. You go there and they have these clean rooms where they'll make the drugs, right? They got these machines and they make the pills. And they make like that blood pressure medicine that you might take, pretty standard stuff. So when they switch from one drug to another, they got to clean those machines down, and then they got to clean the walls, and they'll clean the ceiling.
Oh, because the dust, right?
And because the dust. And the FDA will come in and they'll swab that wall and they'll test it, and it'll be like perfectly clean.
Wow,
that's America. Now, if you go over to India, okay,
not the same.
And there'll be a hole in the roof and rain coming through, right? It's like a whole different beast.
Yeah,
okay?
I get it. Yeah,
and that's what you don't know.
But this is where most of the drugs that we're bringing into the U.S. and consuming are made in China and India.
Yeah, almost 100%. I mean, it's around 80 or 90%. It kind of depends. So there's two big parts to a drug. Okay, there's the drug making the pill or the liquid or whatever it is. And there's what's called the API. It's the active pharmaceutical ingredient, but it's like, think of it like the raw material.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. So while it's more like a refined, it's like, like you refine oil, it's a refined chemical. So you have these big refineries. So one or the other, it's like the pill might be made in India, but the API is probably from China. So China was very smart, and this was not by accident. This is a plan. China had a thing called they have a thing called the 100-year marathon.
Right.
And it was their plan over a period of 100 years to dominate the world. They're in like year 80 on that plan right now. And
80.
Yeah. They're waiting, hey, they got the biggest military in the world. They got the biggest Navy in the world. We make 2 ships a year, 2 or 3 ships a year in this country. They make 80. Okay. So it's all by plan.
And we're still playing around.
See, they knew, we'll let the Americans make the pills as long as we control the raw materials. Right. So
that's what I was wondering.
They're very smart in what they've done.
Yeah.
And whether it's the glove business, we saw during COVID, pre-COVID, Malaysia, I know you go to Asia quite a bit. Well, Malaysia was like the glove capital of the world. Malaysia and Vietnam
really
dominated the glove business. And then China just decided, we want the glove business. So what they do, they just undercut everybody. And then, the market will naturally go to where the cheaper glove is, right? And then they'll own the industry. Everybody else goes out of business.
Yeah. Do we?
Nothing. I'm just.
No, I was wondering.
A little scary.
We hear about cell phones and the raw earth materials, minerals that are needed to make these phones and satellite dishes and all kinds of stuff. Is it the same with the drug manufacturer? The ingredients to make drugs.
Yeah, it's the raw materials, and behind the API is actually the things called key starter materials. That's like the real raw material. And they're smart. Like they've gone out and they've cornered those markets.
Yeah. And this is some of the stuff you discuss in your book?
Yeah, we talk about this in the book, and I know we talked a little bit about the Senate testimony. There's a fair amount of government focus on this right now, bipartisan, both the left and the right. But President Trump is very focused on this idea. So in China, they need our technology. They need our chips, like for artificial intelligence, and we need their supply chain. And that's like the little hook between the two countries.
Okay.
Yeah, they're dependent on us, and it's a codependent relationship.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, here's the problem.
Right.
The problem is what happens when they don't need our chips anymore.
So don't let that happen.
Relationship.
Yeah, don't let that happen.
They've got the minerals.
Our people need to step it up and start working and doing having some factories here and
they'll
be self-sufficient.
They'll steal that chip technology eventually. I mean, that's what they do. Yeah.
Oh.
Amazing.
Or they'll take Taiwan. There's that problem.
Poor Taiwan.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, I just think our country needs to step it up a little bit. We need to have schools or like what is it called when they have like cosmetology? They have different courses for different things.
No,
so
like trade schools.
Trade schools. We need to have trade schools for specific things if the government wants to succeed.
Yeah,
and pay the pay for it.
Well, we got to make
Take
the
care of those
investments. I mean, it costs $1 billion
into your people.
or whatever.
Right.
But there's jobs here. These are good jobs.
Mhm.
They require some skill, and we can do it competitively. So, and I think that's going to happen, but it's going to take a while.
Right.
But that's the difference. And to me, that's the difference with China. They start out early with the skills.
Yeah, but they also do things like slave labor.
And that's
Yeah.
that's their country. That's their country.
Yeah, but it's still not a good thing.
Yeah.
I know, but they start out early with the skills so that they have the right people in the right place.
Yeah.
Well, they also have that, like you said,
It's just like a
100-year
private
plan.
school.
They
and
have
a
a 100-year
private,
plan.
yeah,
I mean, they've got a blueprint and
Yeah.
they follow the playbook.
Yeah, that's what they're attempting to do.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, capitalism beats communism
Right.
or socialism every day of the week. But in the meantime, they can abuse the system. I mean, you go back to slave labor, cheap labor. People basically live in these factories. They have
Right.
like
Mhm.
Yeah.
dormitories and so forth. So it's an unfair competition. But there's no doubt that they're a dominant, powerful force.
But you say unfair, but we just need to step it up. Because
Yeah.
sometimes some people, like when we were in Vietnam and we went on a tour and the guide was like, some people don't have anywhere to stay. And they they had a separate area where I think it was where the garbage was.
Yeah.
Now they cleaned that area out because that's where they used to dump the garbage. They cleaned that area out. And then like 5 to 6 people live in that little space that's right here because they had somewhere to sleep. But on the streets, they're, panhandling, trying to get food, even the kids, everything. But sometimes, just like the homeless here, they have nowhere to, well, I don't know about our homeless.
All different.
Our
That's a
homeless
whole
is
other
different.
subject.
Our homeless is different. It's like
Our
they're a little bit more
homeless have
kept.
iPhones. Okay,
Yeah, they
let's
have.
come on.
Yeah, they have a better quality of life. But
So how do we bring manufacturing, the drug manufacturing, back to the U.S.?
Well, I think the
early
first
childhood
thing
education.
the first thing is awareness. Like you got to talk about it,
Right.
right? And there is an interesting thing happening because, everybody years ago was get a college degree,
Right.
become a programmer,
Mhm.
and get an MBA, and life is going to be good.
Right.
Well, those days are over
Right.
because of artificial intelligence. And the actually better jobs, as Antoinette sort of pointed
Trades.
out, she's talking about trades,
Yeah.
but it's that idea, right? So these manufacturing jobs now are going to have a lot of value. And the country is going to have a reason to do this. I think you are seeing, the United States government already, but also a lot of other initiatives are saying we're going to build factories in the United States, and it's starting to happen.
Right.
The other thing that they do, just on it kind of gets into a public policy discussion, but you hear all this talk about tariffs,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Well, the idea of a tariff says, well, this product's made in China and they make it cheaper because they got slave labor and they can do other things to manipulate currencies.
Right.
We put a tariff on that and that brings that price up
Right.
equal to ours. Well, then it makes sense. Let's go build a factory in the
Right.
United States
Correct.
because we don't have a tariff.
Mhm.
That's the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
And it works to a large degree,
Right.
right?
But if they're
So-
going to build a factory, just like you said earlier, these people are living in the factory. In the U.S., you're going to have to build to entice someone to work for that company. You may need to build a home where their family can go straight to work.
Now, the difference is the factories, that you're kind of thinking
Family
about.
factory.
The factories, those old Chinese factories are heavy labor dependent.
Right.
The new factories are highly robotic,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So you need more of a skilled
AI.
worker to help run those robotics. You still
Right.
need
Mhm.
people. You don't need as many, right? So if you look, my dad, whenever this was, I have to do the math, but God, it's unbelievable now that I think about it. But like 50 years ago.
He was in the auto industry, wasn't
Yeah, he was a GM plant manager.
he? Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. He had like 15,000 people working for him in a General Motors plant in Flint, Michigan, of all places. And today, if you were to build that plant, he had 15,000 people. Today, you might have 2,000,
Right.
3,000
Just
because of the
automation.
robotics.
Right.
Right. So you still have 2,000 or 3,000 good jobs, but you wouldn't have 15,000 guys sitting there with screwdrivers screwing the
Right.
fender on the
Yeah.
car.
That's
you
what they
know.
used to do, though.
Yeah, yeah. I had a friend in high school worked for AC Spark Plug,
Oh,
which
yeah.
of course we don't even have spark plugs now.
What is that?
But he
Oh.
worked there.
Are
and
those
his,
little things you just
I remember them. It's white top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you
one-
got
that's
it.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
his job was to screw the white top on.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Uh,
So they had like 25,000 people doing that. And by the way, he made a good living doing
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
remember. Well,
UAW.
when I was in college, I had a little job, little part time in the morning at the Saucony shoe factory, and my job was to put these little strips on the side of the shoe.
Skilled trade,
That's
baby.
right.
You have
That's
one
it.
hand?
But it was.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But hey, it was a couple extra bucks in college, and it was
Yeah,
hey, I was living.
No, it's good stuff. No
So-
question about it.
So what would you think is well, you shouldn't, I think you know, the most sourced overseas item in the
Oh.
medical field?
Well, oh God, it's just everything. But you could think of it like a little bit like this. So if you think most as being
The number one.
well, number one in terms of like number of pills, it would be like Tylenol or something like that. 'Cause
painkillers.
everybody takes it all day, every day.
Yeah.
But if you think of the most critical, it might be, a cancer drug.
Right.
Now I'll tell you another interesting one. Like everybody and their brothers on GLP-1.
Yeah.
Yep. All
Do you guys
China.
have that?
All China.
But do you guys, I'm not
Yeah.
worried about all that.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that?
yeah.
GLP-1?
Yeah, we think there's a
iRemedy?
By the way, it's super exciting.
Yeah.
GLP-1s and peptides.
Yeah.
And GLP-1s are technically a peptide.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But
And
the
what's a peptide again?
Well,
I don't
it's
know what a
like
peptide is.
Yeah, I'm not a chemist, but it's like
Yeah.
an amino acid.
No, what does it
type
do
of
for
thing.
your body?
Well, no, what it is there's about 15 peptides,
Mhm. Oh,
kind of the
complicated.
sort of in the market, and they were legal during the Biden administration. They were pulled back and made illegal.
mhm,
Secretary Kennedy has said that was wrong,
mhm.
and he is starting a process to sort of
Bring it back
legalize
in.
these.
Mm.
And they are like arguably, and I happen to be one of the people that believe in them. They're unbelievable. I mean, the things that these peptides are.
I'm
going
trying to
do.
figure it out. Is it a sex drive drug? What is it?
No, it's
What is
everything
peptides?
from there's a peptide that helps you heal muscle injury or bone injury.
Okay, got you.
So instead of knee surgery,
I'm thinking
do a
hormones. That's what
peptide.
I'm thinking.
There's a lot on brain health and
Yeah.
like Alzheimer's treatments and other, Parkinson's disease and those types of things. A
Oh.
lot of the peptides have big time anti-inflammatory benefits.
Mm.
So there's that. There's some for hair loss. There are some for sex drive. There's all these
Oh.
various things, and it's kind of a new market, and it's going to go into development mode. But the argument is, the proposal is that the peptide market
Hmm.
will be 5 times the size of the GLP-1
Oof.
market,
Wow.
which is already
Huge.
Here's a
Huge.
great factoid about GLP-1s. Novo Nordisk
Mhm.
is one of the big GLP-1 companies, right? And they're out of like Denmark or something.
That's not China.
Well, they make
Denmark.
it in China.
Oh.
They're just based in Denmark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they invented it there.
Yeah.
But their market value as a company
Hmm.
is bigger than their economy of the entire country.
Oh,
That's how
Wow.
big GLP-1s is.
wow.
It's like
Okay.
a massive, massive world. Everybody knows on GLP-1s.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all, if you watch any type of news at night, all you see is drug commercials.
Yeah,
Every single commercial is drug commercial.
Well, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
And half of the commercial is how it might kill you and die, and you're gonna get paralyzed.
And all the tiny fine print at the end, at the bottom,
That's the most bizarre thing.
but everyone's still taking it.
I think Kennedy is against that. He's trying to get that outlawed. Now,
Right.
the TV networks, like they're pro drug advertising. Get
Yeah.
a lot of money on
They got to
that.
market somewhere.
They must make huge amounts of money.
Yeah, but it's
How do you get your drug? How do you get people to know about it? Because if I didn't know you personally, I would not know about all this stuff.
Well, yeah, but if you're looking for like, a cancer drug, you really should find
Go
out
to your
from
doctor.
and
Yeah.
find out, right?
Not chat.
Not not Fox News.
All things chat.
Yeah, it's not ChatGPT. No. Well, yeah.
Okay, so I missed this. In your opinion, what risk does the dependency create during a crisis, though? When we're
yeah.
when we're dependent, you see how the plane took off without the supplies. What risk? in a crisis.
Yeah. Well, first off, I think the COVID supply chain crisis shocked a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who was head of critical supply chain. I don't want to name drop the hospital. Let's just say a really, really, really big famous hospital that you would know. And he said, yeah, the COVID hit. We went to the supply closet and found out we didn't have one.
We have any supplies? Yeah.
We didn't have any supplies. So everybody was shocked by that. So the first thing is, see, what happens is when there's a crisis like COVID, well, understandably, it's every man for himself,
Right.
or every country for himself. So China, for example, would say, well, yeah, we'd like to sell a lot of stuff, so we'll do that. But if we need it, we're not going to ship it.
Right.
Of course.
Right?
I mean,
take care of their own people
Yeah.
first, right?
take care of home.
So that's problem number one.
Yeah.
Is you've got that sort of crisis. So there's that sort of natural crisis. Now remember, it's not if there's going to be another pandemic.
There will be.
It's because of the nature of the way the world is, everybody's traveling and so forth,
Right.
It's going to happen. So you've got to be prepared for it. The second problem is, global manipulation. So when China, this is a chapter in my book. So my book is all truth. I mean, it's
Right.
all nonfiction.
Yeah. Because you lived it.
Yeah, except one chapter that is, we did a war game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I had
Interesting.
people, I work with people in the national security apparatus. We had a lot of very informed people at the U.S. government and security that advised us on this chapter.
Right.
And we wrote a chapter on what if China went to take Taiwan, right? And we're supposed to arguably help defend Taiwan.
Correct. Yeah.
If they said to us, they called us up and said, well, you guys, cool your jets, because if you interfere with us, we're going to cut off your drug supply
Right.
today.
Right.
That means in about 2 weeks, that's
Yeah.
about how much drugs you have on hand, people will start dying. Okay. And I'm not talking a handful.
Right. Lots.
I'm talking hundreds of thousands or millions. So it gives them phenomenal power, that they can use. And the answer would be, we would quietly take that phone call and find a reason why we're not going to defend Taiwan,
Right.
because we're not going to lose our drug supply.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the
Because
problem.
you would you'd be sitting there going, yeah, that's wrong. They shouldn't do that. Let's go to war and protect Taiwan. Until you said, well, hold on a second. You mean I'm not going to be able to get my cancer drug? Yeah, no, screw Taiwan.
Right.
That's
Right.
really what would happen
Wow.
in the real world.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a very real thing. That's what
Well,
we're in that exposure.
And that
right
comes
now.
into the national security aspect
That's
of it
the
all.
national security part.
That you
Mhm.
can't, you're a big country, but if you have people that have control of the things that you need,
Yeah. Well,
it's tough to get into a
what
beef.
are we living with today? Cost of gas
Yeah.
because of the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
Right. Because some little country, Iran, is able to tie up one little waterway in the world,
It's like 21 miles wide or
right?
something. Like that.
And
It's
they
not-
can throw off the entire
world
global
economy.
supply chain.
Obviously, they're not that little.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just
you
saying,
know,
I'm not going by size. I'm just saying the impact.
yeah, you're right. That's outsized impact.
Yeah.
They're a small country,
But the
but they
impact
still got
have a
things
punch.
kind of screwed
I
up
don't understand that, but
Mhm.
anyway, that's a whole other subject we'll talk
Yeah.
about one day.
have a punch.
I just don't understand about the whole gas. I thought we were the largest natural gas from regular gas.
because we make the wrong kind of oil.
Oh, okay.
And,
Gotcha.
and so what happens
Ah.
is you make the raw oil.
Right.
Then you got to have the refineries to turn that oil into what you need.
Right.
And there's
And
no
we
not
haven't
enough.
built that yet.
Oh, okay.
That's basically kind of short
Well,
story.
we have
but
Venezuela
that's-
oil, but anyway.
Well, that's it.
So
That's
at the
actually a big deal. That changed the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so
back on drugs.
if China has a 100-year plan, what plan does America have?
About a
Yeah,
4-year
no, we
plan.
kind of work in 4-year periods.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the problem. No, seriously. Like we're all about getting reelected in
Correct.
2 years.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm so messy. I did it on
No,
purpose.
that's the problem.
No,
I
you
know.
got it. That's it.
I mean, how
That's
long
it.
has he been in power now? He's been
I-
20 years.
20 years, and he's just not going anywhere.
So they can keep a consistent focus on the direction their country's going,
Yeah.
whether that's good or bad. It's still a consistent focus. Every 4 years, we're like here,
yeah.
and then we're back over here, and then we're back over here.
Yeah,
And
who's our
petty.
4 adversaries? China, long-term planner.
North
India?
Korea,
Russia,
Oh.
how long has Putin been in?
yeah,
Forever.
Mhm.
forever.
North Korea, how long
Kim
has the
Jong-un.
crazy guy been
Kim
in?
Jong Un,
Forever.
yeah, yeah.
Iran, essentially,
Yeah.
Well, he was there 30
they've
years.
been there 45
Yeah,
years.
the,
Oh,
the
wow.
Ayatollahs.
So they've been
45 years.
45 years.
1977.
So that's right. Started with Carter. I'd have to do the math, but it's
Oh,
been like 7 or
wow.
8 presidents have come and gone.
Yeah.
While the one Ayatollah
So, and all those
regime,
4 have consistently had the
Yep.
same power, the same order, the same consistency.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what they do is they're like, yeah, we don't like this guy, but we'll just wait him out.
Right.
Because the longest
Yeah.
that president will be there is 8
And we're
years.
like just like this with our
Yeah.
chickens with our heads cut off.
Yeah.
So that's why I
But
think,
let's be clear, though, we're still the greatest, most powerful.
We are, but
blessed
still.
country
Oh,
in the
yeah,
world,
absolutely.
So, yeah.
We need to come up with a plan.
We need a plan.
I bet we do. We just
They do.
we do.
There's- you
I know
what
we have to live like this. We have to have a plan.
You know what I found is, I ran for Congress and been to the White House and I've been to Congress. I testified at the Senate and I've worked with all these guys. And what you find actually when, because you're watching it on the news, you go, wow, they're crazy people. And, we got the wild guy with a tattoo up there
It's
in Maine right
entertainment.
now. And,
Right.
he's the Nazi guy. And you got all these crazy people.
right.
But the fact is, he's flat out crazy.
I'm not
Let's
even
just
sure
be
who you're
clear.
talking
He's
about.
a
That's
nut.
the
That's-
guy
Spence-
running
yes.
for, was it
He's running for Senate.
Senate? A guy up in
Okay.
Maine, yeah.
He's a crazy man. But anyhow, what you find when you go work with these people, you find out, you know what? They're actually really smart.
Yeah, a lot of them are very
And
smart.
they're really sincerely motivated.
Passionate.
They want to do the right thing. They care. So there's actually a lot of really competent people inside the government working hard.
Okay.
No, listen, the world found out how, if you get the U.S. really pissed off, what we can do.
Yeah, don't wake that sleeping bear.
They did it once before when they bombed Pearl Harbor, and the rest of the world found out what actually happened.
9/11.
Yeah, and then they all found out. So it's it's a big, powerful nation. We're busy doing our things, our little political things, but at the end of the day,
yeah, I totally agree with you.
be a little careful.
Got it behind the
So
scenes.
what prompted you to write a book?
I think it was therapy from the PTSD of the whole experience.
Did you have like dreams about gloves and needles and
no,
stuff?
I'm telling you, really seriously, if you read the book, it's like a Tom Clancy novel. I mean, it's bizarre, really, what we lived through for a year. And we honestly just felt like, well, really 2 things. One is we wanted to sort of like write it down, memorialize.
Right.
And 2, though, is we really became passionate for this idea of deglobalization. And, we're bringing it back to America, building domestic factories and getting serious about the supply chain. And that's what we've worked on ever since. We're very focused on the supply chain.
No, I think it's important. We really, at some point in time, again, you said what's going on right now with the Strait of Hormuz and everything shows you just we can't, a small little power can tie up the world by being able to close down 21 miles of waterway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
I'll take bets, though, that this president's going to clear up that strait.
Sooner or later, it has to be.
It's going to be sooner or later. It'll be before
Negotiations.
the midterms. Yeah. Or negotiations or bombs. One of the 2.
Well, they don't make any drugs over in Iran, I don't think, anyway.
Well, you know what they make, though, is fertilizer.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
right.
for the farmers.
Yes,
The farmers.
So
That's
it's weird how
serious,
it's
too.
all interconnected.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone's needed. I mean, it's the world. We're connected. Humans are supposed to be with each other.
So
You have something I need, and you do it.
We were trying to make syringes, which is plastic.
Right.
Well, we had to buy the plastic.
Right.
And the plastic was the thing. Like because plastic comes from oil, which, right?
Yeah.
So we were going to the Middle East to buy like football fields full of these little plastic granulars.
Wow.
So it's like the way everything is interconnected is
amazing.
Is odd.
So from your experience with, okay, well, let's go back. What steps can businesses and government agencies take to reduce those risks?
Well, the government is finally starting to sort of legislate that you have to buy American, the government.
Right.
Okay, who's, by the way, the largest provider of healthcare in the United States because of the VA.
Right.
Yeah.
But what hospitals and doctors can do would be to start to look at, maybe 10% of the money we spend should be spent on companies made in America.
Yeah.
And begin to, because it's reliable. If you're buying that product from a guy in Indiana, well, when COVID comes, you're still going to be buying from the guy in Indiana.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And so you take this time, don't be lulled into complacency because there's no problems right now,
Bless you.
but begin to invest and spend, domestically. It's not just like be a good American, be a patriot, although it is that,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's also just smart. You're going to get a higher quality product. It's going to be more reliable. It's going to be, you could get in a car and drive over and inspect the factory. You can meet the guys who are doing the work. Like, it's just smart.
And plus, when you shop in the United States, the companies, you're also putting other like families first. You're putting the community first when you shop within the States.
Yeah, that's right. You know, if you want to help people out, it's not about, you know, more unemployment money or more welfare.
Right.
It's like, let's build an economy that can support people. Yeah. People feel better when they go to work. They have higher self-esteem. They're mentally healthier. They're emotionally healthier. They're contributing to the GNP.
Absolutely. And the cost is lower because now instead of everyone going and be like, the cost fluctuates, but you have an order on the cost where everyone knows this is where you come, the reliable factories that you know to go to. This is where you're going to get your items from. They know they're going to keep the cost at that price.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like, just because blah, blah, blah came here, blah, blah, we're going to change up the price for that person. It's consistent. And then now communities can have a consistent price to sell the syringes and the gloves and stuff. At least if that made sense.
Or drugs and everything else. But think about this. Under the current scenario,
you
make a thing, okay, a shirt, a drug, a needle, a syringe, whatever. It's a couple thousand miles in China.
Right.
It's got to be put on a truck. It's going to burn diesel fuel for a couple thousand kilometers or whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be put on a ship with like a million other containers.
Yeah.
And it's going to take 4 to 5 weeks burning oil all the way across the ocean to land at a port where it's going to get unloaded and be put on a truck and driven halfway across the United States.
That's right.
Like, that makes no sense. Like, you should be able to make it in Birmingham, Alabama, and deliver it to Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
That's just no big deal.
No, you can imagine the actual cost of something if you could make it here as compared to what you're actually spending, what it costs them to make it over in
so are the
Malaysia,
steps,
Vietnam. And
what steps is the United States is doing? I mean, you're in the field. Are there steps being made to do that?
Yeah. The big thing the government is doing is, so what the president does, or the government, is they've done these things. They're called 230, you'll hear this term, 232 or 301 investigations, but they will say, oh, China is using an unfair trade practice.
Right.
By doing that, they're violating a certain law that gives this administration the right to tariff them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the president will say to countries or companies, like he has a deal they made with South Korea.
Right.
And it's for like $400 billion. And it's like, either you pay me $400 billion in tariffs, or you agree to invest that money in the United States and build factories. Well, those companies are like, hey, we'll go build factories.
Yeah.
And make some money
That's
on
what
it.
they do, right?
Yeah.
So they're just peeing the money away.
And so they're doing that. And this is happening. You're starting to go, they're putting a factory in, they're putting a factory in. This is starting to happen. So that's like the public policy side of it.
Okay, nice.
It's happening. It's taking a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from your experience, what legal issues arises when companies are forced to move at emergency speed during a national crisis?
Well, you know,
and did you personally face any legal risk moving at that speed when you were shipping the stuff over here?
Now, you know, we're pretty disciplined. We were in the business.
You were working for the government.
Well, not only that, but we've been distributing drugs and stuff like that.
So
I just thought about that.
We knew, but what Tim would know as an attorney is, you know, when you get rocking and rolling and the pressure is on and maybe greed is kicking in, you get a little greedy. You begin to compromise. You're kind of like, yeah, well, you know, we could get away with it type of thing. And that's when you get in trouble.
Yep.
And it happens. We saw it happen all kinds of times.
Well, you saw with the PPE loans.
Yeah, just the PPE loans. A bunch of those people.
They're in jail now.
In trouble.
Yeah. Come to get you, bite you.
But the other is like, you know, fake product and, you know, there's all kinds of bad things.
So that's what I would be scared of. Like any kind of medical supplies. Why would you want fake anything that's going to, especially if it's going to go into your body?
Yeah.
You can't just take any kind of risk like that. You don't know what people are going to do.
You could kill people.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess the next big thing is if you could somehow anticipate what the next pandemic's going to be, wouldn't you be well off?
Well, they called that Wuhan.
Yeah.
That was China.
Wow.
Right? Well, there's it's, you know, here's what I would say about conspiracies. they tend to
Sorry.
be right a fair amount of
Sometimes,
time.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain argument that says Wuhan first. The first argument was that the virus was leaked from Wuhan.
Right. I
And that
remember
was denied. Now they're like, oh yeah, that's what happened. Now they admit, but now what they're saying is what was accidental.
Yeah.
There's a certain group of people who would say, well, maybe it was accidental, or maybe it was a test case. Like we drop that virus into the world and we see what happens, and it becomes a research on viral warfare.
That's how sometimes I think things are. Like the what's the one before COVID?
Well, there's
The one that touches you, and it was an Ebola.
Well, that's happening
that's
right
coming
now
again,
in
yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
It's back again.
I figured they're just testing different sites to see. In my mind, I don't know if it's true or not.
You never
Different
know.
sites to see how it works and how we react like ants.
There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we just don't know.
Just don't know.
Right. You
Yeah.
just have no idea.
Yeah.
So can you give your book a little plug?
Yeah, give your
Because everyone, it's on Amazon.
give your book a little plug.
So the book, of course, you can find it by looking up my name, Tony Paquin, The End of Us. It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon,
there you go.
guys.
Yeah. We could probably have a link on the podcast for it.
Yes, I'll put a link.
It's actually kind of a fun read. It sounds like a boring subject, but
no, it does not sound like a boring subject.
What we did is we on one level we sort of explain the supply chain and how it works. But as we're doing it, we're telling you what happened during this event in China. And it's literally a war story. I mean, we had the president involved, generals involved. We're being monitored by the White House Situation Room.
Yeah.
We had the Chinese military and ambassadors and people stealing from us and tens of millions of dollars. And it was just wild and
Can you give me an estimate of how much money you lost?
I lost $35 million.
Wow.
It was really, really bad.
Wow.
So, it was a depressing period of time. Yeah.
How much more travel could your wife have organized with that kind of money?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
more events.
I'll tell you, she went to China.
We've been there a number of times.
And I'm not allowed to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Seriously?
Yeah, no, they've told me not to go. I think if I went, there's a chance it would be a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Listen.
Let's be real. I'm not going to China.
No. Okay.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
I'll watch the movie. I'll read the book. But I'm not going to China.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So, from your experience, let me make sure we didn't miss any questions.
Well, I'm sure there's a bunch of questions you missed, but anyway.
So, did you see any situations where regulations helped solve problems, or situations where regulations made things worse?
Yeah,
the regulations of the,
Yeah, I think you'd find regulations might frustrate people a lot. But look, some things need to be regulated.
Yes, especially anything dealing with the health.
And I think drugs and all the related products are a perfect example.
Yeah.
I think that we need them. And I'm normally like the libertarian. I'm the deregulation guy. But there's certain things that you take a drug, you're expecting it to be the drug that you're taking and that it's clean and pure and proper.
Right.
But you don't really know. How would you know?
Yeah.
You're relying upon the system to do its
Especially
job.
Americans, we rely on the system.
That stuff, right? When you open up a bottle of Tylenol, you think there's Tylenol.
Yeah,
in there,
that's it.
right?
You don't even think.
Well,
you know.
Except that one guy was spiking the Tylenol
you're
20,
like,
30 years
this is perfectly. I know what I'm taking. Blah blah blah.
You were too young. There was a guy going around spiking Tylenol.
Oh Lord!
A number of people died.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
All right.
So who should read this book?
Everybody should read that book. No, I honestly, you really should read the book. It's not a hard read. It's an interesting read. It's very revealing. I think Americans should know what's going on with this whole subject. And then you'll understand it isn't just drugs. It turns out to be everything.
Right?
Yeah. But you should understand this. And then what's happening in the world will make more sense.
Right.
Right. So
because the same thing again with the precious metals and everything like that. There's risks when you don't have control of those things that you need.
Yeah.
And you have to rely on other countries. They have a little hand over.
Yeah, Tim and I have been around a lot longer than you, Antoinette.
I'm happy. I'm happy.
But what
so it makes me look even better.
But what I would say is that and then our parents particularly.
yeah.
But the country's been sort of lulled into this complacency. But bad things happen.
Yeah.
It's like when we watch the war in Iran or in Israel, like Israel's getting bombed, and of course the Gaza Strip's getting bombed, and it's horrible, right?
Yeah.
But for us, it's like a TV show.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a video game. Like we just don't really feel it in reality,
Right.
right? Because we don't experience it. But it's a real thing. Like it happens. World War II was, now it's been like 80 years, but it was unbelievable what happened in World War II.
It was, the whole world was on fire.
Millions of people. The whole world was on fire. People getting bombed all over the place, and terrible things happen. Bad things happen.
Yeah.
Shit happens. Not always legal
Sometimes
shit.
legal shit, but not always legal shit.
And so what you got to realize is like the bad people are still out there.
Oh yeah. I know that.
And you got to be smart. You got to be aware of that.
Yeah.
And you got to not be complacent or naive. Yeah. It's real deal.
So if another pandemic happens, is America better prepared today than it was in 2020?
Well, yeah, only because you couldn't be less prepared than we were in 2020.
You really think we're prepared?
I didn't say we're prepared.
Oh, okay.
I said we're more prepared than we were in 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we're not prepared.
Because I walk these streets. We don't.
No, look, it's tough, man. It's but
people are just trying to work and trying to pay their bills and buy gas.
Yeah, well, and these are big, hard problems to solve. And it takes time to solve. But the only way I would say we're more prepared is we're sitting here talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. And the government is focused on it,
I'm
and
scared.
companies are focused on it. So there's people are moving in the right direction. Right.
Okay.
Whereas in 2020, we were oblivious.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a guy from the Biden administration, National Security Council, White House call me, and he's talking to me, kind of political conversation. And he says, well, Mr. Paquin, you have all these products you carry, and it's like 1 million products. And he said, someday our expectation is all those would be, made in America. And I felt like saying, well, you're a freaking idiot. Like,
why aren't they made in America now?
You're in the White House?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, don't you know that none of this is made in America?
Right, exactly.
It'll take you 100 years to get there.
Right.
So
they need to start making those schools.
Group was very naive.
Yeah.
Okay. I would tell you that, for example, the current administration, but really just going forward, they're not naive. People now understand this is a serious problem.
Yeah.
And they're beginning to try and figure it out. But step one is at least know that there's a problem.
Yeah. That's the first thing. The first step in fixing a problem is realizing the problem exists.
Yeah.
Right?
So are they, which I don't know, you guys know more than me. Have they started making any steps to like schools and trade schools for some of these items?
No, that's like we could have a conversation about artificial intelligence, which my firm, I'm an AI programmer, and we have a big AI application for national supply chain. But this AI situation
they need to make the mask.
Is going to change the world, and robotics coming right behind us.
Yeah.
In another 2 to 4 years.
Because I saw a video of them training the robots.
Oh, did they have cameras on or something?
Yeah, they had the cameras on their heads, and they were training the robots to fold and do all these different things.
Yeah. They have a robot in California now. You can go there, and you can take your laundry and just dump it on like a bed.
That's what I heard. It'll
fold it.
Yeah.
It's like a demonstration project. I've seen videos of it. It's unbelievable.
Can you please find out the name of that manufacturer? I need that because
I do not fold. I do not put laundry away. I will wash it. I'm not putting it away.
I mean,
at least you have clean clothes.
If you got a robot to fold your clothes.
I do not fold. I do not put clothes away.
You got any other questions?
I may clean, but I do not cook and I do not fold. I will wash it, but someone else needs to put it away.
That must be a Jamaican thing.
It must be. Same way.
My mom cooked.
Oh, man.
I didn't have to cook. The food tastes good when she cooks it. We go over there on Sundays, we collect the food and we eat.
That's right.
You get a whole week's worth of food that way?
No. We have West Palm. We have clematis. We have pistache, hullabaloo. But what I've learned too, there's a
Tim
study.
the laundry boy.
All you have to do is put it away. That's it.
No, I fold it too.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you
And
can
fold
stuff
it.
it in the drawer. Not
No,
fold
no,
it.
no.
No, I
'cause
fold it all nice and
and it
neat.
needs to be organized.
Yeah.
But I
I
like
fold all
that.
nice and neat.
He's obsessed with folding.
I
He even
am.
fold his underwear.
Yes, I
Oh,
do.
he's got a little OCD.
Mine,
thing
I got it
going
from
on.
Keisha. I'm putting it right in a Ziploc bag and put it in each compartment.
And then if I said, please don't dry the laundry if I'm not here, because then it sits and it gets little wrinkles. And if
Oh,
there's
He
little
takes too long.
I
I
gotta
dry
start- I have
them.
to start all over
you can't
again.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
can
if you
send-
don't
I gotta-
dry
I
them,
gotta
they
spray
sit in
them
there.
in
They
it.
get moldy.
No,
I would
it's-
rather have crinkly clothes than moldy clothes.
No, it's
The mold
I'd
gets
rather have.
Or you can fold the clothes.
That's
No, I'm
right.
not doing that.
All righty.
So I'm not
Oh, I
done.
thought we're-
I got one more. Beyond the book, what is iRemedy doing differently to be a part of the solution?
Yeah, so we actually have a really interesting thing. I won't take too much time with
Yeah.
it, but we developed an application, and it's called the Trade Spy.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's an artificial intelligence product, and what it does is it monitors the supply chain for drugs worldwide using digital agents.
Gotcha.
And it's really cool, but it tracks we track every shipment of every product in the world, so we know where everything is manufactured.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Well, it's important, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And do you still have a contract with the government?
We continue to work with the government.
There you go.
Do you ever need anyone to carry your bags? I mean, carry your supplies,
Over to China.
your notepad.
Yeah.
Go pick up the supplies in China.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to pick it up. I just want to travel in his pocket one day and
I
It
like
go
that.
requires clothes folding,
and take
though.
little pictures,
All right.
get some content. But yeah,
All righty. Well, listen, folks, this has been a really interesting conversation.
and Tim's gonna be mad because I'm still gonna go.
Where
So,
you going?
guys, not going anywhere. Where did I find? Oh, hold on.
What are you
Hold on, slow down a little bit. So, guys, if you need the book, you
I was
want to
gonna
get the
say.
book. Do you know where to get the book? Where do you get the book, Tim? Where's the
Amazon.
book? On
Amazon.
and what? How are the book?
Amazon.com.
And what else? And how does the book come?
Amazon delivers it.
Oh wow! You men can stick together all you want. So the book, guys, is The End of Us. Obviously, you saw it on the flyer
By
and-
Tony Paquin.
by Tony Paquin. You get it in Kindle. You can purchase it on Amazon in Kindle,
we have
hardcover,
They
and
still have
paperback.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because some people
Oh,
like to
yeah,
read
they
the
like
words.
the digital version.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
because
I
you
used
can
to have a
carry your
whole book.
iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can just carry your iPhone around
Yeah,
and read it on the
people-
iPhone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of digital. Yeah. Yeah.
I mostly do
Well,
Audible.
it will go. It'll run on iPads.
Yeah.
and
Gotcha.
that, Yeah.
So you can buy the electronic version.
Yes,
Yeah.
All
there
right.
you go.
yes.
Mhm.
And it's called the End of Us, a story of death, deception, and China's deadly grip on U.S.
There you
healthcare.
go. That's it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So guys, get out there, read the book, be aware. Maybe that's the next skill that you need to tell your kids, or someone needs to start their own company,
There you
another
go.
company, to start team up with Tony and manufacture
There you go.
our
There you go.
PPEs. That's what they're called, and medical supplies.
PPEs and
PPEs.
Yeah,
Everybody knows
PPEs.
what PPE is today.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Used to know that.
well, Tony, thanks so much.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank
Great having you on.
Oh, it was
It's
a
been a
ball.
great conversation. And
Loved it.
remember, it's not just talk, it's
Legal
Legal
shit.
thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, I'm gonna shut it down live.
Hold on now.